Goedendag, good day. How are you lovely human being feeling at this moment? My name is Phylicia Joy Kloes, and in today's video, I'm going to look back at the year 2024. First things first, I want to wish you a happy new year. Thank you so much for clicking onto this video today, and let's dive into the lessons that I learned in 2024. So I'm currently in the Gambia, and the other day I was sitting down to think about all the lessons that I learned. So I wrote down a couple of questions in my journal, and I'm going to discuss them with you. First question I asked myself is, how did the year 2024 make me feel? And I actually wrote down a couple of things. So here's my list. I felt surrounded by loved ones. Throughout the whole year, I was hanging out with friends, family, with my loved ones, and I really felt I was surrounded with love, which was a beautiful feeling, and it showed me how important it is to feel the connections to the people that are most important in your life. This gave me a really warm, lovely feeling. I also felt love, and I felt love, as I mentioned, from my loved ones, but I also felt love from the children that I teach in my class. I truly feel like this past year I have grown into improving the connections I feel with the young children I teach. And of course, sometimes I still fall into the old paths of thinking too much about the goals or where I want them to be, rather than to live in the moment and just feel the connections and feel them in their present moment in life. However, I felt the love a lot more from the children and their appreciation of all the things that I do for them throughout this school year and the past school year. I also felt this connection more with my coworkers as well. I've really started to grow this connection with them a lot more this past year. And as I mentioned previously, also the loved ones, like friends and family in my life. This past year, I also felt strong. I have been working out at the gym more frequently because we had started a membership at our local gym, but also I signed up for a 10K, which I practiced for, and that also made me feel really strong. So I'm grateful that I have a body to be able to do all these things, to do the movements, and to also grow my strength throughout the year, honestly, grow my endurance. So feeling strong is also something I truly felt. I also felt really lucky because I have been able to do so many fun activities with the people I care about most. And honestly, it's a pretty lucky thing to be capable of doing all those fun things. Stay tuned for next week's video, where I'll share a experience haul with you so you kind of get to know all the fun experiences I did. This past year, I've also felt more creative. I started to draw more, I started to paint more, I started to clay more. I got these alcohol markers, which I have been discovering different kinds of drawings with, as well as different kinds of techniques. So my creativity has also been sparked this past year, and I honestly didn't realize how much I missed it. I did draw before that, but it was more sporadically, and this past year I feel like I've more made time to create. I've also felt really well fed, and I'm really grateful to be able to say that. We have been making a lot of homemade meals at home, or we have experienced different restaurants. We have been going out to eat a lot less this past year, which I'm also grateful for, because it's good to just make your own things at home. And we have been creating so many good dishes, honestly. I've also felt really explorative. I'm not sure if that is a word, but I've been on a couple of trips this past year, and I'm grateful to have done so. I've seen a lot of beautiful places. I've captured a lot of beautiful places, and I've done them with my loved ones, so really grateful for that. Then this past year has also made me feel sad. I'm assuming you're aware of the situation in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Sudan, in Congo. There's a lot of bad stuff happening in the world, and this past year I felt really sad. I felt really inadequate to help out in a better way. It's honestly so saddening how politics has created a system that rather considers money than people, than the well-being of people, than the well-being of the land. Like, all of this has an impact, and I have cried so many times behind my phone because seeing all this is sad. And to experience what people are experiencing who are actually in the middle of it, I can't even fathom. It's so sad. It's so sad that there are politicians who are choosing to help the oppressor. There are people who are choosing an interesting side of history. Like, in my opinion, there's no way you can defend what is going on. There's no way you can defend prohibiting help from entering. There's no way you can allow this hunger, this freezing to death, all the explosions, all the killing of innocent people. There's sadness was really also a feeling I felt. So the next question, what lessons did I learn in the year 2024? I learned to balance private life and work a lot more. I started working from this fall up until recently, work 4 days rather than 5 days, and that has helped me to balance work life and private life a lot, because I feel like as a teacher we tend to think about work a lot, and even when I'm home I'm thinking about work. Work is constantly like continuing in my brain, and it's never finished. There's not a dull day in a teacher's life. There's so much happening. There are so many responsibilities that I put on my own shoulders, and I know I can be a lot better even at delegating tasks. However, by working a day less, I am learning to balance life a lot more, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that I am capable of doing so financially. I'm thankful that I get to have a longer weekend because Monday's my day off. And I feel like this learned balance can only grow further. So, it's been a good lesson to learn. I've also been learning more about mindfulness this past year. I've actually done a course and finished the course, so I can now call myself a mindfulness teacher for kids. And enhancing more mindfulness in my own life has truly improved my mental health as well as my view on life. I'm capable of living in the moment a lot more than before, and it's more often okay for me to just take it more easy. I've also noticed that by committing to YouTube, it has truly paid off. Thank you again so much for all the support you've been showing. It's definitely taught me that commitment is definitely key. This is the first year I have uploaded weekly, or pretty much uploaded weekly, and the lessons that I learned from that on YouTube is helping my creativity as well as helping me to stay committed and to show up for you as well. There are so many ideas in here, and it's nice to put them into actions rather than just have them as some thoughts. I also learned, as I mentioned in the previous question, that I really missed a creative outlet by adding more creativity throughout the year with different kinds of creative artwork. I really learned that I really missed it, honestly. As a kid, I was really creative, and the creativity kind of switched to YouTube a lot. But I feel like doing the different kinds of creative work has really shown how much I want it in my life, how much I want to continue making this an addition to my life rather than something I feel like I'm just committed to with the weekly upload, for example. So learning that is really valuable. I also learned to improve my communication skills. with my loved ones, but also with the parents, with the children, with my coworkers. And it's so valuable to be a good communicator. I still have to learn, I think, to be a better listener because I get really enthusiastic and just want to talk. But to communicate, it's also important to listen. And now I'm in the Gambia, I'm listening a lot to the Wolof to try to learn the Wolof. But even in the Netherlands, I've learned to become a better communicator, and I think I can grow and learn even more about that. However, I've already seen that I've committed more to learning to communicate better, and that it's really a two-way path with communication. I also learned that I can definitely use my voice a lot more, especially since there are people in this world who are not able to use their voices. And I'm thinking, for example, about Afghanistan, how women are literally forbidden to hear another woman's voice. I have to speak up more, and I have learned that through my social media, like my Instagram is a lot of times reposting a lot of the things that are going on in the world. But also by, for example, at work, mentioning Palestine, for example, or with family members or with friends mentioning the messed up things that are happening in the world. It really has taught me and shown me how important it is for me to use my voice because I can. And it's important to talk about these more difficult topics because there are media outlets who just don't cover it. And I'm in a real bubble of all the things that are happening. I'm also really aware that I am more in a left-sided bubble on social media, but it's good to talk about these topics. I've also learned about how crooked this world truly is. I mean, I already knew there are systems in place that are honestly promoting inequality, but I feel like this past year has highlighted even more how unfair this world is and how so many systems are in place that just keep it that way. And it is sad, but it's good, I think, that I'm learning, that I'm more aware, that I've opened my eyes a lot more. And there's still a lot more I can do, but you know, the start is there. I've also learned to listen to my body a lot more, especially by living in the moment more, but also by learning like what different bodily experiences can mean, for example, to be more mindful about eating, about movement, about taking rest. And that's really valuable to listen to my body more. I wish I had done that a lot sooner, but here I am, 30 years old, listening to my body more than before. So how would I describe 2024 in one word? I wrote down the word human. I wrote it down because I'm human and I live more in the present moment, therefore just the human experiences at this moment in time, but also the word human because of the connections to the surroundings that are increased more, that I'm more aware of. And then I'm meaning connections to my surroundings in the broadest spectrum, not just from one person to another, but also like to the little things, like the insects, like to the plants growing, to the seasons. So more connections to feel as a human being. Also the word human because there's only so much I can do with this human body, with this human experience I have. I want to do a lot more. However, I sometimes just get humbled to realize there's sometimes not more I can do. And then also the word human because honestly I'm very concerned for humankind. As I mentioned earlier in this video, there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and there's a lot of people that are experiencing trauma or that have experienced trauma. And honestly, I think us humans as a whole, we're all impacted by this. Even I'm not literally physically in, for example, Palestine or Lebanon or Sudan or Congo, everything I do still has an impact. Everything that is happening there still has an impact, and humankind is impacted by this. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but yeah. every human has a way to feel that this whole negative thing that is happening is down spiraling to all life, I think. Because all the bombs that are being dropped has an impact on the people, the nature, which in result will have an impact on the surrounding nature. There's people that are connected with that. We see it, we feel it. Well, basically the word human. Yet I also am grateful for the human experience I have, and that I get to experience all this. It means I'm alive. The next question, what would I like to leave behind in the year 2024, is war, greed, exhaustion of natural sources. I would like to leave behind comparison. I have become a lot better at comparing less to other people. However, I still sometimes do, so I would like to also leave that behind more. And also insecurities. Like I mentioned about the comparison, I have been getting a lot better about that, but at some times there is this little voice that still gets a little insecure, so I would like to leave that behind. Next question, what would you take with you from the year 2024 to the next year? I want to take with me the mindfulness lessons that I've learned, the gratitude I have been experiencing. I've been writing in my 6-minute journal a lot, where I start the day with writing what I'm grateful for, and that practice has truly humbled me as well. It's great to just think about what you're grateful for and truly feel that, not just write it down, but truly feel it. I also want to take with me the empathy I feel, as well as the love, my creativity, and using my voice. So these are the questions that I have asked myself regarding last year. Maybe you can comment below an answer to one of these questions as well. And I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a thumbs up if you like this, and I hope to see you in another video. Oh, and if you have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Bye-bye.